So we're going to throw over to Darren, our resident numbers man, with Number Up. What do you got for us this week, mate?
So there's some bad and some good. We'll start with the negative stats and then finish with the positive stats to segue in to highlight those particular teams. The Tigers, I guess, one of the final steps for becoming a good side is the ability to win close games. They've got a record of 3-7 in their last one-score games, if you will, so 4 points or closer. So 3-7. They obviously had another loss on the weekend in that space. The Dragons, we haven't got Scott here, but 0-3 start for the first time since 2024, but it's only their second since 2008, so relatively rare air for them, 2 in 17 or 18 years that they've gone 0-3. And the Raiders, they were better certainly on the weekend. It wasn't an awful performance by any means compared to the week before, but they've now lost 5 of their last 6 if you go back to the end of last season, and they've conceded 205 points in that time, so 34 per game. They were only averaging 19 for the season last year before that run started. So hard to call it a rut based on the hard-fought nature of the weekend's game, but obviously some early issues for them. Some of the positives, so the Eels, 7 of their last 10 now, averaging 26 points a game, and their defensive numbers have improved from 32 to 21 points conceded, and you've got to factor in that includes a 52 they dropped against the Storm in round 1, so their numbers are pretty solid otherwise. But going to touch on the Warriors and the Panthers on the positive side of the coin. So the Warriors, number 1 in the comp for points, assists, possession, completion and supports, and it's only their second 3-0 start since their inception in 1995, so the other one was 2018, so they're in rare air. But the Panthers, as we segue in, they've scored 15 tries this season and conceded just 2. And to put that in perspective, they scored 4 in 15 minutes in their match on the weekend. But just some numbers. Average points per game conceded. We know it's been a high-scoring comp this season. 5 teams have conceded on average 30 or more this season. 12 teams have conceded 20 or more this season. And sides with very good defensive records. Storm averaging 14 against, Bulldogs 12 against, Warriors 12 against. And Leo, as I bring you in to discuss it, Panthers 3.3 against. So they're absolutely dwarfing the competition at the moment.
Yeah, boys, the Panthers are on fire to start the year. As we spoke about a couple of weeks ago, as my S-tier Panthers, they would have been unhappy about, where they finished last year. And they've just come out with a bang. Like, as Darren touched on, they're an insanely great defensive side. I've got a stat here, like 92 points they've scored and 10 they've conceded to start the year. That is just an incredible feat. Like, every play, and those, they've come up against the Roosters, the Sharks, and the Broncos, like all sides that are expected to be in the top 8 or more. I feel like in their side and their defensive coaches, like everybody in that team knows their role and they trust their inside man, trust their outside man. And it just goes to show they have great defensive efforts. And on the back of that, they just, fall into their attacking shapes. And Cleary and Talangi are great at, stripping the numbers. And it's showing. Honestly, I think, pretty bold prediction here, but I think the Panthers will go undefeated until the Origin period. And I think it will just be a dog walk at the end of the year. I think it will be one of those years where the Panthers, everyone will be like, yep, it's the Panthers all year. And I think they're just too good, and no one has shown anything to prove otherwise.
Sometimes the dog can take a human for a walk, though. It depends on the dog.
Depends on the dog.
It depends on the fight in the dog and the effort in the dog and the energy in the dog. I had my shoes and socks off when Darren was going through those stats, trying to keep tabs on the numbers. The key one for me is the 0 and 3. Mm-hmm. So teams, I think, by round 8 need to be around about 50% if they're going to make the finals. Okay, so obviously if you're 0 and 3, you've got to be close to perfect starting from next week. Panthers is the other one, because both the Warriors and Panthers have had fantastic starts to the season. The Bulldogs are undefeated too, but the Bulldogs aren't scoring many points. The Warriors and the Panthers are. They're also playing some quality teams, the Warriors and the Panthers. Both have played the Roosters, who were many people's favourites for the competition at the start of this year. The Warriors have also beaten Canberra heavily, who were last year's minor premiers. Penrith have beaten last year's premiers. I could keep going on. the difference is the Panthers in this era where we're all worried about the amount of points that are being scored, unless you enjoy watching TikToks or YouTubes with lots of tries. Us traditionalists are a bit worried about the tries being scored all the time. Panthers conceding that few is the most amazing stat for me right now.
Yeah.